Hello everyone! Today I bring you the DX Inazuma Blaster. Now before we have a look at the Inazuma Blaster itself alongside the Plasma Capsem and the Booster Capsem, let us have a quick look at the box. On the front side of the box you will see the Inazuma Blaster itself, Kamen Zeztz in his Plasma form, and the Plasma Capsem, and since this is a first run edition, you will see the Booster Capsem is included. Now it's important to note that this is a Chinese import version, meaning that the Booster Capsem is inside the box. If you buy it from a Japanese import or Japanese reseller, you might not get this Booster Capsem, or the Booster Capsem will come its own little baggie. Alright, now let us have a quick look on the side. On the first side, you'll see Zeztz in his Plasma form right here, alongside the Inazuma Blaster and the content of the box, which is the Inazuma Blaster and the Plasma Capsem. Now, as I have said before, the Booster Capsem is also in this box. Moving on to the back side, real quick, this is the instruction manual. Feel free to pause the video and have a quick look for yourself if you want a greater look of it. And quickly to the third side, here we have Zeztz in his Plasma form alongside the Inazuma Blaster. And quickly to the top now, you'll see the Inazuma Blaster itself and the Plasma Capsem, sorry. And now, let's go and have a look what's inside the box. Once you open up the box, what you're going to get is the Inazuma Blaster itself alongside with the Plasma Capsem right here. And the Booster Capsem is a first run bonus item that is included with the first run of the Inazuma Blaster. It is also important to note that not all retailers will have this included for free. So before you buy it, if you really want the Booster Capsem, do double check. So now let us go and have a look at the two Capsem first, and then afterward let's go look at the the Inazuma Blaster last. Alright, let's go. Oh, one more thing, before you go, please be sure to like and subscribe if you like this video. Alright, now let's go. Now let us take a look at the Inazuma Blaster itself. First off, I'm gonna quickly show off all the detail of the Inazuma Blaster. So that's how the front look, and the back side. And if you look up here, you'll see the connector that allows you to connect the blade part to form the Great Sword mode right here. And you will see this little piece here, which is what's allowed you to release it. And if we look in the middle here, you'll see the Capsem release button right here. This is what allows you to remove the Capsem, and the on and off switch. Moving back to the front, and I want to add a bit of note. Because of the way it's packed in the box, there's a chance that yours might come bent like this. It's kind of sad, honestly. And now let us take a look at the detail on the front. You have the trigger right here. You will have the Capsem socket right here and the lever for activating the finisher. Now I want to add an interesting note. If you look in the socket right here, you will see that there is this two little switch here. This is actually what allows it to read the two Capsem, which are the Booster and Plasma, and also identify a normal Capsem. I'm just going to bring in the two Capsem so you can see. I'm not sure how well you will see it, but if you look right there, you'll see a little gap here on the right hand side here. Let me see how well I can shine it there. You might see a little gap there. This is what allows the Inazuma Blaster to read the Capsem. Same goes for the Plasma Capsem. I'm not sure how well you can see it, but there's a little gap right there. It's a little hard to see, but there's a gap right there. And since normal Capsem doesn't have that gap right there, it will be read basically the same thing. So this in the Inazuma Blaster is capable of recognizing 3 sound, which are the 2 Capsem, which is the Plasma and Booster, and every other Capsem. So I'll just move those aside first. So let's just have a look what happens if you pull the lever. Sorry. You will see the little wheels spin in there. That is what allows the Capsem to spin automatically. And on the backhand side, I almost forgot, we have the speaker right here and the on and off switch right here. Let's turn it on. Sadly, it also does not announce its name like older Kamen toys. Now let's get to the sound. If you hold it, the sound's still the same. So hold it. Now for the finisher. So for the finisher without any Capsem, you would just simply pull the lever down 3 times. And you can either press or hold it. This is what happened when you press the trigger, and now I'll show you what happens if you pull the if you hold the trigger. And that's the activating of finisher without any Capsem. Now if you activate it but didn't push it all the way down 3 times, the sound will be exactly the same, you just won't get the sparking sound. So just for demonstration's sake. Now 2 times. Now before we get to the two capsem, it is important to note that once you load in the capsem, whether you hold the trigger down or you press it, the sound will be 100% the same. So let's start with the Plasma Capsem first. Simply stick it in. Sorry, it's a little hard to do with gloves on. Simply stick it in. Click it.
Plasma on. Voltage 1, 2, 3, relax. Inazuma Center.
And to remove the capsem, simply push this button. Now for the Booster Capsem.
Booster on. Voltage 1, 2, 3, relax. Booster Center.
Now for demonstration's sake, I'm gonna use the Impact Capsem to be a stand-in for normal capsem.
Inazuma on. Voltage 1, 2, 3, relax. Inazuma Center.
Now there is one more mode to the Inazuma Blaster, which is its Greatsword mode. So what you will need is the blade part of the break-arm Zeztz right here. You need this one. So you'll have to buy the break-arm Zeztz first. And you simply take it and connect to this socket right here. Sorry.
Great sword mode.
And it's a pretty big sword. I'm just gonna zoom out real quick. Now for the sound. Finisher.
Voltage 1, 2, 3, smashing.
Now this time I'll hold down the trigger.
Voltage 1, 2, 3, smashing.
Now time for the capsem finisher, starting with the Plasma Capsem. Simply insert it in.
Plasma on.
Sorry.
Plasma on. Voltage 1, 2, 3, relax. Inazuma smash.
Next up we have the Booster.
Booster on. Voltage 1, 2, 3, relax. Booster flash.
And lastly, the Impact Capsem.
Inazuma on.
And to remove the blade part, simply go to the back here, push this little button right here, and split apart. So just push it. And there you're back to the normal Inazuma Blaster. So now let's get to the final conclusion. Now we go to the final conclusion. Let's go. Now that we've seen all the gimmicks and features of the Inazuma Blaster, let's get to the final conclusion. Starting with the pros, then the con, followed by the final score. Let's start with the pros. The biggest pro is the size of this toy. This is a pretty big and beefy toy, so adults and kids will have something big to hold on to. Albeit this is not the biggest toy out there. Another pro is the fact that you get 8 different finishers in these toys, and the fact that you can combine with the Break Ancestor to turn it into the Great Sword Mode, giving it quite a lot of playability. Now let's move on to the cons. There are 3 main cons with this toy. The first is the fact that it relies on the other toys to get the most of it. What I mean is that out of the box, you can only really access 2 out of the 8 finishers. You only get the Inazuma Blaster and the Plasma Capsem, giving you access to 2 of the 8 finishers. Now, if you have the Zeztz drivers, that will give you 1 more finisher. So, but this means that if you want to be able to unlock all the functionality of this toy, you need other toys, making this a pretty expensive purchase. What you will need are the Break Ancestor to go with it in order to unlock all of the playability inside the Inazuma Blaster. Moreover, you would also need the Booster Capsem too. This leads me to the second con of this toy, which is the value. In order to get all the playability out of this toy, you will have to spend quite a lot on it. The price I'm using is going to be based on Bandai's own website. The Inazuma Blaster is around 6,380 Japanese yen or $40 US. And on top of that, the Break Ancestor, which is another 5,280 Japanese yen or around $34 US. You would have to spend around $74 for this whole package in order to unlock 5 out of the 8 sound. Don't forget the fact that the Booster Capsem is a campaign item, meaning it's not even guaranteed that you will be able to get the remaining 2 sounds. For context, this is a quick comparison. This is what you get for around... So this means that if you want to unlock the sound of the Inazuma Blaster, you have to spend a whopping $74. What could you get for the same price? Or around the same price? You could get the Zeztz driver. I'm gonna remove this out of the way just so that I have more space to work with here. So for the same price as all of that, you could get yourself the Zeztz driver. Oops, sorry. Alongside a literal box load of Capsem right here. So this, the Zeztz driver is 6,930 Japanese yen or around $45, and 9 Capsem for another 4,950 Japanese yen or around $32. So this entire box right here is around $77. So for literally $3 more, you get this much playability out of the box. I'm gonna move the stuff out of the way. So this is a pretty big spend to get everything out of the Inazuma Blaster. And the third con is about the little Booster Capsem. The fact that this is a campaign item is a massive con and a massive why on Bandai part. Since this is a Capsem that is part of the campaign item, for those who does not know, it means that you will either have to pre-order it with a specific retailer who will give this included for free. And that is not always a guaranteed. Or another option is you buy it from a reseller. This is a frankly baffling decision on Bandai's part. And it also marks the first time where the second upgrade form is a campaign item. This means that a third of the sound of this toy is effectively locked behind a campaign item. Now, I know some of you might say, oh, just push the button on the inside to unlock the sound. But what is the fun of that? What makes the toy fun is just having stuff to interact with. Watching the Capsem spin and stuff, you know? Another minor con is that this is a non-transforming weapon, meaning what you see is what you get. This is sort of remedied by the fact that you can combine it with the Breakamp Zeztz to turn it into the Great Sword mode. Now I'll get to the final score. I've been going back and forth on this one for some time now, but I've ultimately decided on a final score of 4 out of 10. The reason for this is because you get a lot less out of the box than something like the Breakamp Zeztz. The Breakamp Zeztz, you get, I know the handle's somewhere else, I just didn't grab it. You get the Breakamp Zeztz alongside 1 Capsems. You get 4 different modes and you don't need to buy anything else. What you get in the box is enough already to unlock all the sound. While this is true that this has technically more sound, it also means you have to spend a lot more too. Because you need a lot of support items to unlock all of the sound for this toy. And moreover, a third of the toy is effectively locked behind a campaign item, since, you need the Booster Capsem to be able to unlock some of the sound. So as such, I decided to give this toy a score of just 4 out of 10. One more thing is that I'll be giving the Booster Capsem its own rating too, as a campaign item. This thing is gonna get a whopping 1 out of 10. This should have been included in the box. It should never have been a campaign item. Bandai should have just added, $4 to the price tag and include the Booster Capsem in the box. My recommendation is this. If you already own the Breakamp Zeztz, the Inazuma Blaster is a pretty cool toy to have. The Breakamp Zeztz effectively allows you to unlock 1 more mode, giving it access to a bunch more sound. But if you don't already have this, and you're only buying this in order to get the Plasma Capsem, it feels a little hard to justify. And a pretty tough pill to swallow. I would suggest getting the Plasma Capsem separately if possible, since Bandai is technically selling this separately. But I'm not entirely sure how easy or difficult that's gonna be. Now if you want the Booster Capsem too, you're kinda out of luck. Since you only have 2 options for this. You either have to buy the Inazuma Blaster during the campaign period, but if you're watching this video, that means the campaign period is already over, or buy it from a reseller. Both options are not great and even downright horrendous. But that is the only real option right now if you really want the Booster Capsem. Before I end this video, there is one more thing that I completely forgot to mention, and I'm now adding this later on. Another con of the Inazuma Blaster is the way it's packaged. As you can see, mine is banana up pretty badly because this is simply put in a box that is not shaped to it. This means that if you buy it, there's a chance yours might come banana like this. And honestly, at this price point, it's just not acceptable. I have no idea why Bandai didn't decided to put this in a box in which it's formed to this to prevent it from bending. But just know that if you buy it, there is a chance yours will come bent like this. Alright, and now we go back to our regularly scheduled video conclusion. And that concludes this review. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to click like and subscribe, and don't forget to come back for more Kamen Zeztz review. Alright everyone, good night, take care of yourself, and don't forget to brush your teeth. Alright, bye bye!